Aviya Nachshon is one of our regulars at our conventions. He has been to at least two previous ones that I can think of, probably more than he can think of, as well. So when we heard, unfortunately, about the events of October the 7th, we knew that Aviya had already registered for this year. We assumed that unfortunately he would be unable to join us, and so we were absolutely over the moon when we heard, I think it was last week, that Aviya had received special permission from his regiment to come here and not to give this talk specifically, but to come here for this convention. So that is very special, and I'm not going to introduce Aviya anymore because firstly I don't have his bio with me, but also Aviya will be more authentic in the way that he delivers it himself. We are very grateful that you've come, and thank you very much for this.
Thank you, everyone. So just as Russell said, my first convention was here in Hannover, 2020. So this is my third time. At the time I was in Budapest. I came from Budapest. Actually, during COVID, I went back to Israel, and I've been there since. So I'll say a few words about myself, and then maybe I'll just tell you about my point of view of that day, or maybe actually the whole first week, let's say. And of course, this will not be a political talk, or I'm sure everyone has their opinion, and everyone has their what they've heard on TV. The fact is that I've not been seeing TV because I was there. So I told a few people that other than what I've seen, you probably know more than I do, because I don't know, all kinds of stuff that are happening up north or other things that are going around the world. I have no idea because I was in the middle. So first of all, about myself, I'm 28 years old, soon 29.
I said you were a baby.
And currently, I'm in my last year of electric engineering studying in Israel. I'm starting next month, hopefully. I'm starting a master's degree, also in electric engineering in nano optics. I work as an engineer during the week, and every weekend I go to Kfar Shmaya, which is close to the beach on Herzliya, next to Herzliya Pituach, whoever knows, and I'm the cantor there. It's considered full-time. If you go only for weekends in Israel, it's full-time. As I've told many people here over the past year, also in the last convention, my community is very unique because we are, the community is Orthodox, at least that's what it said, but the people are mostly, they're not religious, none of them. So the only two religious people in my community are me and the rabbi. Everyone else, each one does whatever he wants. Some come by car, some come with their phones, without their phones. We really don't care. But the actual tefillah, the actual minyan is like the Orthodox. Even though the synagogue, it's a very big synagogue, considered to Israel, and it's built in a very open-minded way. And we are more open-minded than the regular Orthodox in Israel. For example, when we have bar mitzvahs, then the mother also comes up to bless the bar mitzvah boy, but we still won't have a bat mitzvah. Well, not a bat mitzvah that reads in the Torah, no, but we have a special ceremony for also bat mitzvah. Also, I said that we used to have a choir that, even though this was an Orthodox community, and there was a Haredi Chazan before me, there used to be a choir that came on Shabbat with a car, with a truck, and they would smoke outside until they had to start, go inside, sing, and leave. Yeah, so basically I work 7 days a week, 5 days as an engineer and 2 days as a cantor. I teach all of our mitzvah students around the area. And so on the 7th, if we go straight to it, I was working. I was a chazan in Kfar Shmayahu. I think I'll just say what happened to me on the same day. I'm sure each one found out in a different way. I don't use the phone on Shabbat. I don't even have it near me. So my wife woke me up at 6 in the morning telling me that there are sirens. I told her that she's probably dreaming, and we went back to sleep. Because sirens in Herzliya, that can never happen. And when I got to the synagogue, there's this guy that he's the only one that always comes before me, but he's very dramatic. So even when there would be something minor, not that anything is so minor, but even when there was something minor, he would always tell me, there's a war, there's a war. So this morning he also told me there's a war, there's a war. And I started singing, but then I started realizing that something is happening because first of all, people didn't come. And even the people who were supposed to be Chatan Torah, Chatan Bereshit, the people who donated thousands of shekels or even dollars for this kiddush, huge kiddush for 300 people, they didn't show up. And then some of them did show up, they came, they spoke to the rabbi for 2 minutes and they left. So I started understanding that something's happening until I think only at around 9 or 9:30 that the rabbi stopped the service and he told us what's going on. So everyone else actually did know. The only one that didn't know was me and the rabbi, because we didn't have our phones. But still, even though he told us that there are casualties, I never thought it would have anything to do with me. So we continued. We tried to do our best to make it happy and to dance and to sing. We did have a smaller service, and faster service. But then we also had a meal, and only later on, they opened up the shelter. The shelter of the area is underneath the synagogue. There's a big shelter, and they have this huge TV, and all the important people sit there whenever there's something urgent. So they were all sitting there, and I decided to go downstairs to see what's going on. And then, first of all, I saw, of course, the numbers. But then when I saw the names of the places that there might be some kind of terrorist inside them that was able to get inside. Then I saw one of them that was Kfar Maimon, which is not the first line. It was actually further, but I knew that my sister was there for the holiday because she was a bat shirut in Kfar Maimon. And then I was debating with myself if I should open my phone or not. What should I do? But then I said that maybe she's calling. And I was sure that my parents are not using their phone. My dad's a rabbi, and I thought he wouldn't use his phone for this day. So I decided to open my phone to see if my sister's okay. And thank God she was. But I saw that I had 10 unanswered calls from the army. That was around 2 in the afternoon, I think. Okay, they're calling me in. So pack my stuff and go to, there's this area that everyone has to get geared up and get on the cars, the trucks, and go down to the south. So I was there, and we were thousands of people. We just drove to the area, threw the car somewhere, and just went inside the base to start getting gear. And here we can also bring up the anecdote, maybe that you've probably heard about all the donations, and that some soldiers were complaining that some gear was missing, or that some gear was too old or too rusty. And I can tell you what I saw from my point of view. I don't know about the rest, because some are saying that the army does have very great tactical gear. It was just taking a lot of time to take it out. I don't know. It's been a month and we haven't received it yet. So no, we're good, because we thank God we got donations from America. And so basically we get geared up very fast and we get on the Hummers. My unit, our job is to do basically mostly rescues. So we are second line. The first line is usually special forces or people who are now in the army, currently in the army, and they fight, and we need to give them supplies, take out wounded people, or God forbid, bodies. But we were just so fast, because it's funny, because half of us at least are religious, Orthodox, and we were there first to that place where all the gear was, and they just sent us straight down there. And we were supposed to go to Beit Kama, which is it's a little bit before all the small kibbutzim, and we're supposed to be there for the night. And then in the morning, we were supposed to come to help all the forces because they were fighting inside the kibbutzim. We are trained to fight inside the kibbutzim, but because we haven't done it for years, so they wanted us to wait. The problem was that it took a lot of time for other units to get there. So before we even stopped in Bet Kama, we were just going by it. They told us, okay, we can't wait, we have to go. So we went all the way down to Kibbutz Be'eri. That was our area. Kibbutz Be'eri is considered, at least from what they told us, a big kibbutz. So they had to split it up to 5 parts. So one part was, each unit received one part that she had to go and clear house by house, go and check. I'm telling the story assuming that everyone knows what happened that day. So we have to go house by house. And of course, we're not the first ones there. There was first the very special units, the what to call them in English?
First responders.
The Shayete, the elite units, yeah, the special forces. So they were there first. And we had to go because they had casualties. They had people who were wounded, and we had to bring them out and take them to the hospital because you can't go with an ambulance inside. It's too dangerous. And we have Hummers, so we have like 4 or 5 Hummers, each one with 3 soldiers in the back. One of them has to be a paramedic. We go in, we go out. We go in, we go out. Like we do that all night. So I think we got there exactly around 7 or something like that. Actually, I didn't even know most of the time what time it was because I didn't have, my phone was out of battery, and that was Saturday. I think the first time we had somewhere to charge the phone was around Tuesday. Because where would you charge the phone? Some people charged in the houses.
Yeah.
But we didn't have enough time for that. So on Tuesday, a few buses came and they let us just go up and sit in the bus and charge the phone. That's what we had, because the generators were only for all the meetings that they had, the officers. So basically, that's what we did for the first at least half a day, go in and out. We had minimal gear. I didn't even have shoes, I came from the synagogue, so I had the synagogue shoes. So someone was able to give me sports shoes, like Nikes, which I still have to pay him for, because I ruined them. But only around Tuesday, like I said, also all the donations came, and you've probably seen the pictures of all the food that they give the soldiers. Everything was around Tuesday, because before that they weren't even allowed to get clothes. And that's also when I got shoes, when I got army shoes. Basically the first night in the beginning of, in the morning, Sunday morning, we were still doing the same thing. And then most of the areas of the kibbutz, they finished the first, they finished going house by house for the first time. And then they wanted us to go the second time. So again, we did that for a full day. We go house by house, check everything. We don't touch anything. We just check if there's, and many times there were also Jewish residents that were still in the house or in the shelters that they just didn't want to go out. We had to convince them. So we also brought all kinds of special treatments or special people to talk to them because they just wouldn't go out, and because they didn't know who we are, they couldn't see. It's actually the people who had the special shelters, that paid more money to have a better shelter, and nothing was able to go inside, not even smoke. So for the day and a half, we were just doing that house by house. We still found a few terrorists that were hiding. Some just popped out from anywhere. I think basically we've done that for almost two full days, because there was this area and that area, and every time that some terrorists came out, you start from the beginning. It's very, very long. And in the meantime, the worst thing is that you don't touch anything. You don't touch the people, you don't touch the nothing. Everything stays the way that it is, because the Rabbanut needs to come, and the special, what's it called? The Handasa, the people who check if the bodies are, if they have something explosive, for example. There's a lot of steps. Yeah, some kind of combat engineering. So that they have to check one by one, and they have to decide, first of all, to see that they're not explosive, and then also to decide if it's Jewish or not Jewish. If it's not Jewish or not Jewish. If it's a resident or a terrorist. Because there were also non-Jews. There were some Thailand people and some Filipinos that were helping elders. And I think that was for the first 2 days. We've done that. And then, because the place was so big, and there was still, for this whole time, there's still gunshots everywhere, and there's still, in some of those 5 areas, there was still fighting. So in one area you would clean it, the other area they would be fighting. And you know exactly, that you work with the map. You cannot pass this street. If you pass the street and they don't know you, they shoot, like we shoot. So they told us all the time that we can't move from street to street without getting permissions, and everything has to be in order. And then on Monday, the Zaka came to start to bring everyone to burial. Everyone who needs, and same problem, because they can't go inside if they're still shooting, because they're not soldiers. They're Haredi people who, most of them did not go to the army. They have no training, they have no weapons. So they built some kind of teams, that there would be 3 Zaka people. You know what Zaka is, right?
Yeah.
No. Zaka is an organization that is in charge. They go to all of the accidents and attacks, and they take the bodies and bring them to Jewish burial in an honorable way as much as possible. They do the hard work, let's say. That's what many soldiers think that way, that this is actually the hard job. So every ambulance had 3 Zaka people and 3 soldiers. And we would protect them and help them, because there weren't enough. There was so much work to do. And I think the first time they only came like 50 or 60 Zaka people. It sounds a lot, but it's nothing. Because when you go inside the kibbutz, it's everywhere. So it's important for me to, you should tell me if my descriptions are too much, or, because I don't want to say too much, because I know that for some people it's too much to hear. But I was very surprised, even though I know that this wasn't a regular day, but I was surprised to see how difficult it was for the Zaka people. Because when we got, later on, we went to the area where the party was, where the special techno party, there was the big disaster there. It was like looking at a beach, like full of people lying down everywhere. And the Zaka people were just like, they couldn't move at the beginning, some of them. They were throwing up, they had headaches. We had to wait for almost half an hour before we even started. So for them, it was, even for them, that they do this job, not at the same amount, but they do this job for years. It was very, very difficult for them. At those times, I think for me, I think we worked with them for another 2 days. It was really so much that 2 days, because you give each one the respect that it needs, and you take care, do it slowly, and you don't do it with ambulances because it's too small. You do it with trucks, unfortunately. So for us, the soldiers, at least my friends, most of us have never seen a body, ever. Just the movies, maybe. Or even when we were soldiers, maybe we saw one from afar, but we never got closer to it. There was always a different team that was, not Zaka, but a different team that was sent to take care of bodies. But here, you used every hand that you had. Like you see that a lot of people are volunteering to do things. There's always something to do. I think Benny told me that there's an organization that they help. You said helping closing.
On the army base.
Huh?
On the army base.
Yeah, there's so much to do. Everyone can help. So all we had to do at those days was to concentrate on trying to help, or because you had to have your mind on something. You can't. We were trying to be robots, but you can't be a robot for so long. So you're always trying to think that of something good that you're doing that will give you the motivation and to not break down. Because some did, many did. Some you've probably seen in the news. There were some people that fainted. Some people. We also took soldiers to the hospital that didn't even go in. Just from outside they fainted, and we had to take them to the hospital, or even helicopters had to come to take some people. Basically, that's what we've done for the first week. We got there on the first day when it was still fighting, and we finished there when, you've probably seen the picture, when the flag was put up in Berry, that finally all 5 areas were clean, even though after that they still found one, I think, and they're still checking all the time, because there was even a time that they were suspecting that there was some kind of hole in the ground or something, because even though we cleaned, we always found more people that were hiding. Many of them were not soldiers. At least they didn't look like soldiers. When you see someone with flip-flops and wearing sports shorts, it's not a soldier.
Right.
But they were everywhere. Civilians, or I don't know. Maybe they were soldiers and they were so high. I don't know. But one of the stories that I do remember that shows, first of all, how much mess there was, but also how important it was to not be quiet, to say whatever if you see something, you have to say. If you feel something, you have to say. Is that we were going in one of the big strips, and there was the combat engineers, whatever we call them, that they were checking and body by body to see that they were not explosive. And they were putting the terrorists on the side of the strip, because we don't take them with Zaka, they take them with a truck. And we were walking by, because we were going to the houses to take the Jewish people, or to take the civilians, and we saw this person, this body. He looked so Jewish. It was crazy. And first of all, he was very old. He was very big, and he just didn't look not like a Gaza civilian, not like a terrorist. And we were telling them that we think this guy is Jewish. He's not supposed to be here. And we're telling him, no, the rabbis checked. Okay, so we continued, and then we came back to the same area, and we looked again. No way. It was just, you look at the guy and you're sure he's Jewish. You're sure, you see it. And we insisted, and they brought back the rabbis. I really don't know how they do it. I don't know how they check. I didn't see them checking any Brit Milah, nothing. I just don't know how they're doing it, but I really don't know. But somehow they decided that he was Jewish. So for us, this was something that took us off thinking of what we were doing, because all we thought about was that this guy, his family would probably be, I don't know, probably be looking for him, because he would be put in a truck with all the terrorists. instead of taking with Zaka, because he was in that area. It was so messy that, and so many that they were doing it probably too fast. And that one was crazy. It stayed in his face stayed in my head for at least 2 weeks, because also in a good way, because we felt how much good we did when we so insisted on this person. And basically after that we were mostly guarding the area, you can say. We were sent for a few days to train in the Bika, which is not even in the area, not close. We used to go back and forth. And as Russell said, I was sure that I'm not going to be here. And what happened was that, like you all know, it took a lot of time for, I guess, the government to decide when to go in and when to and how. And in the meantime, there were so many soldiers. We were, wow, hundreds of thousands of soldiers. In a way that when I got to Be'eri, everything was empty. And when I left, there wasn't even, you couldn't stand without, everywhere was a soldier. And also that's also dangerous, because they were shooting grenades from everywhere. And they decided to start sending people home. So each one of the guys, this guy needs to get married, this guy wants to see his grandma. Each one, some really want to see their wives, so they want to go now, let me go now. So I had one night at home, and then I came back. After 2 weeks, I had one night at home, and then when they told us that we were going to have some kinds of changing, that half will be in this week, half will be in this week, until they'll need everyone, because we were a lot. And in this specific, you probably heard, everyone came from all around the world. There was no soldier missing. We were 100%. We were more than 100%. Because some soldiers that were released before the 7th came back to serve. For example, someone who has, I think, 6 kids, so he gets off. He doesn't have to do a reserve anymore. But they all came. Everyone came. So for me, it's not that they released me because they think the convention is the most important thing. But they did respect my offer that I would be last, because this was the last one to go out. So I can be free for this week, and then supposed to go back next week. I don't even know where. So one of the things that before maybe someone else wants to ask or talk or say his opinion, I don't know, because I really don't have too much to say. I think I told this to one of the people here that. When we were working with Zaka, when you try to imagine it, you think that there's a lot of, there's not much talking, it's very silent, I have to say, because at the beginning they explain what to do, and in the beginning you say, okay, 1, 2, 3, up, 1, 2, but after 10, 20, 40, 50, it just stays the same for hours, and we were doing it for 24 hours at least. And in a way, I had to have something in my mind, because if I think of home, then I'm sad. If I think of my family, I'm sad. You can't think of work or anything else. So you have to feel like you're doing something other than this. So it might sound weird, but I'm sure for each soldier it's personal. And for me, it was like I tried to look at the fact that I'm in a way doing some kind of funeral for the people, even though they're going to have a funeral. But for me, it kind of took my head to, I won't say a happier place, but a more calm place. I'm escorting them together to a better place, I don't know. So in a way I was like, because I've done a few funerals as a cantor, so I was like, to myself, I was like, singing a little bit, or saying some Tehillim, Yoshev B'Seter Elyon, or singing some Akavia. I don't know, for me, we spoke about it today, I don't know why for me this is a funeral song, but it is. And And people started asking me a little bit what I'm singing, and for the whole second day, the Zaka people always called me Akavia, because I was always Akavia. So they just started calling me Akavia, and that's what I've done for 24 hours. It was like an ongoing funeral. It sounds very, very tough, but it was tougher not to do it for me. And I think the only thing else I have to say about this is that each soldier and each person that was there looked at it in a different way. For someone, the people that were giving us, explaining to us what to do, they told us, if it's difficult for you, then you don't need to go into the houses. You can stay outside and help carry. If this is too much to you, you can just go, switch with someone else. Or each one, if it's difficult for you to see faces or to see children, or each one and his board and where he draws the line. And I didn't think that it would happen, but for me, as much as I saw less, it was harder for me personally. For most people, to see was harder because they saw it and it stayed in their mind. And for me, it was the opposite, because when I saw it, I took care of it. It was like I was able in a way to have my mindset cleared, and I did my mission. But when I didn't see, some of them we didn't see because they were already packed or already in the bags or something. And it was harder for me because I started imagining the people. And again, if it was for 10 minutes, okay, but for 24 hours straight, it was very tough. But we did it, and now for the last few weeks we've not. It's just been for us it was regular already because we've been guarding and going around and training. And someone asked me before about how some of the soldiers are dealing psychologically or whatever you call it. Yeah, mentally. So first of all, many of them, some of them just are okay. I don't know how, but some of them maybe they're very they're thinking about the mission, or a lot of the paramedics, they've seen things before and it was easier for them. Some are hiding it, I'm sure. The Army gave us a few meetings after the first week when things calmed down. They took us to a few meetings with Army psychologists. Some of them I think are not they're not professional enough for this situation because they're very young. Usually big psychologists, they don't work with the Army, or at least not in the reserves. And so I guess most of them will do something in their civilian life, in their personal life. My wife insists that I do, even though most of the time I told her that I don't feel that I need to, but she insists that I try, that I do. Yeah, especially after I wasn't home for 3 weeks. And for me, I think the only thing that stayed, except for the memories, is there are some places that I feel like I have some kind of flashbacks, or that make me feel bad for a few seconds. They don't really impact the rest of my day, but for example, on the one night that I did leave, when I went home, we were looking for an apartment because we live in the settlements. It's called Yakir. That's where we used to live. We don't live there anymore. And when the war started, my wife decided that we're not going back there. It's too much because we live between a few Arab areas. You have to drive through them. And for me, because I was a soldier, I never feared it. It was just driving, okay, get home and everything is okay. But for her, it was too much. So when I went to look for another apartment, it's weird because it was just regular apartments. But when I walked into someone else's house, when it wasn't so clean. It was a little messed up. Regular house, regular family. It's brought back all the houses, because I went through like 300 houses and each one was a mess. Because some of the things that you were seeing on the news were not so accurate. One of them was, they did burn a lot of houses, but a lot of the burning was not actually from them, was from our attacks. Because when we were fighting them, we had tanks, so some of the houses, it wasn't exactly that everything was burnt. Like when I was there, the houses were still there, some of it was burnt, but not everything. And then when we had to fight them, or if there was a house that there were RPGs inside, so they didn't let us go, they just blew everything up, because it was too dangerous to go inside. They checked that there was no one, and then they just blew everything up. So that's my side of the story. I don't know what's next for me and what's next for everyone, for the whole army in Israel. I think I'll just conclude before I let you ask questions or just say what's on your mind. I'll just tell you why it was so important for me to come. Of course, the first reason is that I've been here for the past 2 conventions, and other than enjoying being here and learning so much, because like you've seen, I like to learn. So even though I'm studying music, I study engineering, and I like physics, and I teach in the university also. I'm a tutor for electromagnetic waves and physics. And so other than that, for me, this is a family, and we are friends. And for me, it was very important to continue the tradition that we've been meeting once a year and sharing music and sharing stories. And more than that, for me, music is my peace area, is my quiet spot that I can run to and I can go to. Even though in these situations it said not to run from what happened, but for me, going to the music, because I didn't even have my phone, I couldn't listen to music, I had to sing to myself. And so yeah, music was what I wanted after coming. Other than seeing my family, just some music, some resting, also physical, but also emotional rest with music. And last but not least, today with everything that's going on in Europe and around the world, to come and also represent Israel, represent the army, represent the state, and every occasion that I have to sing Hatikva or to sing Avinu Shabashamayim or to sing something for the soldiers, I'd like to take it. So this week we have a lot of occasions. So hopefully I'll have this opportunity. I don't care about the rest of the songs. For me, this is the opportunity to represent and to show Israel around. Even though I know that the places we are going to hopefully will be supportive and still doing my small part. And thank you for listening. That's it, I guess.
Could you please help us try to get information of when he went into the houses and started bringing people? From what I have heard, at least regarding our family, our cousins, they were in the pajamas and they only the cell phones when they were evacuated. I mean, what kind of situations did you meet with people? What impression did you have?
So most of the people that were already taken out by the special forces, we just drove them if they needed. Some of them even walked, because some of them were in the area that was closer to the exit, and buses were waiting for them to go to Yam HaMelech, to hotels. But like you said, people were living in their shelters, so most of them were in pajamas. Some of them really wanted to look for others. They didn't want to go out. They wanted to wait for someone else or to wait for a dog. Yeah, so some of them, they wanted us to look for the dog. So actually when we finished, there was actually, I think, it wasn't exactly a car, there was a golf car. There were two soldiers that were in charge to go around and look for animals. Unfortunately, they didn't leave too many animals, because they also shot all the dogs. And also the cows. They shot everything. But there were a few dogs. And actually, I had a friend that he went back to, because when we wanted to get donations, they couldn't get there. So we had to meet them at that gas station in Bet Kama, which is further. And when he was there, he actually somehow met with a family from Be'eri that were waiting there for their dog. And they got their dog. And because they were so happy. I don't have an animal, but I know for them that, yes.
Can I ask a musical question, since we are a musical audience?
Yeah, sure.
I think it's probably fair to say that all of Israel's wars, and we wish none of them happened, but they did, have given rise to folk music. I think sort of Yerushalayim, Zahar, and Luya, and songs like that. Is there any sign yet, maybe it's not time, but it will be time, but is there any sign yet that there is new folk music coming out of Israel connected with the events of the Rising?
זה לא חדש. Oh, maybe. Okay, I was about to say maybe אצלנו בגן, because of all the hostages.
Probably because
their children.
The singer, what's her name? She's from Gaza and she lost her husband.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So now it's become.
So what happens now is
It's then
Yeah.
the music
something that I've been hearing over and over ever since.
Yeah.
Since
Maybe. I don't know. I don't follow enough. You probably follow more than I do these days.
The was not written for a lot of
Yeah, a lot of
but it became.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
I'm a Jew living in Germany. Where I never wanted to be, and I'm still here as a brother. I think that Germany can be thankful that you came here and that you tomorrow will speak out in the parliament or sing out and also at the university where we are going. Because what I met in the last 3 weeks were people, neighbors, people I didn't know before who came up to me and were asking. They were asking and asking and asking and trying to understand what is going on. So I'm deeply moved and I want to thank you that you came and also thank your wife that she lets you go and also the army that they let you go, that you are here. It's an important task here in New York.
Being a cousin, I mean, I spoke to Asi, who phoned me, said he was with Shai visiting.
Yeah, he was in Israel.
And yeah, Asi came to Israel, so he phoned me and he said, can't get hold of me, I'm in Israel, I'm with your friend Shai, we go around to the hospitals and we're singing and doing things for the people in the hospital. As you mentioned before, your music is your peace and your tranquility. How many chazanim are actually employed to do this special work? It's a psychological thing that Shlomo Shalom used to go and visit the soldiers and sing to them in the hospitals. Other people do the same thing. But being chazanim and empowered to do this, it's something that gives a hizuk to those that are fighting the shomrim, obviously, of our country in Israel.
So these days, all the singers in Israel are going all around bases and singing for soldiers. Unfortunately, most of the soldiers don't listen to Chazanut too much. And I don't want to say most, but many of the great Chazanim in Israel are also Haredi, so they have less crowd in the army. But I think I'm the only Chazan that I know, at least, that is combat soldier. Most of the Chazanim that are in the army are in the Rabbanut, so they do the funerals. And unfortunately, in this war, because there were so many, so they didn't only have to do the funeral. They used to only sing, but now they had to actually be part of the burial because there wasn't enough hands. So for them, it was also very, very tough. And I know that Zaka had a lot of events when they brought Avram Fried and even maybe also a few Chazanim to sing for them because they had a really tough time. And they're still working around the clock. I think that last week the Rabbanut, probably with Zaka, still had to go over the border, not exactly into Gaza, but over the border because there were still bodies on the way that someone had to bring them. So they had to do it, and I think Shweiki went, and Avram Fried went for them to sing. I'm not there. I sing to myself and to the people around me, I guess. And
but as Yalda said before, it is so important when I mention about us being a unit as Jews and with our Israeli friends who have come specially to go to Parliament, to go to the university, to show the non-Jews, who that's what we're basically going to see, to stand up with our strength and say, Am Yisrael Chai B'Vadai, we are here and we will always be here and we have the strength. Any questions that you want to ask, they should ask us. And we should be truthful and say that we are democratic. We are the only people in the world, in the Middle East, who cares and looks after our people. Forget this false news, because it's so important. It's like our dear friend here, who I love dearly, who spent the time to come to be with us. And we had been corresponding, and I didn't think this would happen, but no, very special. I think we should give him a round of applause.
Maybe
just get emotional.
Yeah. So we're here to sing. Let's maybe sing something.
Yeah.